Okay, so it's 6 in the morning, and before the day even starts, because I'm up early, because look, army, a 10 garbage truck straight outside my door. No reason to be picking up garbage today, not garbage day, but these garbage trucks go all day, every day, and they have massive bright lights all over them, sometimes ridiculous. The same with all the trucks, the ambulances, fire trucks, everything around, continually around. But if it wasn't like all day and every day, you would actually think that it was normal. See, they've cleared out, but as soon as I come out. But basically, you know, if you think about it, they go around this suburb of Leichhardt in the city of Sydney, in the country of Australia. They actually go around 24 hours a day, these garbage trucks. They're with bright lights all over them, which wouldn't be possible if it was a real local area. They've just cleared out, but every noise they make, even just moving around, I don't know whether the mobile picks it up, but even all the vehicles just moving around, just the movement of every vehicle on the road is loud, louder than what is normal. Like, I can hear almost every vehicle going inside my house around the local area, because they're making massive sounds that is not normal. All the vehicles have been changed to make aggressive, loud sound around me. But every vehicle, every garbage truck, if it was a real reality, you wouldn't have garbage trucks every few minutes appearing all over the streets. They are army tanks. They are literally concealed military vehicles, or concealed anti-life, anti-human, spiritual, if you like. It's, some people would say it's spiritual warfare, and it literally is, but it's concealed, it's camouflaged, it's hidden, but in plain sight, as the word says, even though I am ignorant of even the word. But I realise at this end time that the word is being used against human beings, because the word will be nothing but the truth twisted by demigods, just as we have the representations of the female form being manipulated vastly by the magnificent demigods of the past, present, and no doubt the future. But as you can see here, left on my wall, we have representations of the ultimate females, or the ultimate human females. But these are really divine androgynes. That means they are of the divine anti-human God that rules this world. They are relatives, the children of that God, you could say, or in other words, representations on earth of something which they're really not, because they represent the God of this world, not the God of creation, and they're not normal, natural women. They are duality, divine, androgyne, android beings, because they're artificially created, and they are basically not of any vibration or frequency. In other words, they are not in, it's very hard to explain, but you know, there's high and low vibration, or there's dark and light. dark is no vibration or low vibration. Trying to put it scientifically, even though I'm ignorant. But essentially, just before I get any noise and the sun has just come up, the birds are just all flying away. Oh, sorry birdies, but they're all outside because I left a bit of bread there, and they're hungry because this council in this area does try to defeat the birds. Even though you probably won't realise it, but they pretend to be doing things for nature, and it looks that way to the average human being, but they always have ulterior motives. They pretend to be humane and natural, but usually it works against real natural life, because I understand. I think so much about these things because I now dwell on it 24/7, just as they dwell on suppressing human beings 24/7. But I better close the door because then they'll come round. But see, they frightened. But look, there's a lot of pigeons. I'll just see if I can get, I don't know why I'm filming them, but the artificial life forms will film the birds in their videos too, but they actually don't like life. The demigods make videos where they film the birds, but they actually don't like life or any natural animals, but they pretend to, just as the council around here. And everyone on the street, everyone around me pretends to be a normal, natural human being and like life. They all walk their dogs, they feed the birds, but essentially it's all staged, it's all artificial. They don't feel for life. They actually dislike life. They dislike human beings, which are the only life, and they dislike any natural life of any sort. And that's just how it is, but they pretend the opposite. That's the end game. It's all deception, all what we could call the Lucifer, the god of this world, has always been master of all lies, as we're told. And I'm just a simple human being, an old lady in this you know, basically satanically controlled area, you could say. I use that word satanic because that's like where the god of this world, that some people would call Lucifer, but they're just names, because different denominations will put different titles on a god, just as the creator of human beings and of natural life may or may not have a name. I'm not given this information, so I just have to use titles and try to put into words the best that I can. But I just want to film this just because I do hope the little ibis birds or the bigger ibis birds always stay in existence. But you know, despite pretending to want to preserve a natural world, most of the false human beings around, just like the false god of this world, does seek to destroy all natural life whilst pretending to preserve it. That's the name of the game. But I better not go out here. The sun is just coming up, and it's going to be a very hot day today, I think, which no doubt will drain my energy just as much as the you know, artificial pretend human beings around me will set up this looks very calm now at this time, even though we had the patrolling garbage truck just leave. But very soon my whole area will be invaded and the birds will disappear. They will leave. They're all around now only because I left a bit of bread here. And of course I'm just continually watched and patrolled so that they can also pretend to be humans. That's why I see a lot of bread left around the suburb now, whereas if I didn't do any of these things, then the beings around would also not do it, because they actually don't like life or animals. It's not that they don't like it, they just probably, I think really, because they're basically artificial intelligence, it wouldn't even occur to them. And they don't have any relationship to it, naturally. How could they? They're basically survival machines. They think in terms of only survival. I'm told this and I observe it. But it's still like what some people might call an artificial concept, and at my age I've had to rethink how I see everything, because oh, there's so many of these pigeons, aren't they? They are actually very, 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 very wonderful, 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 wonderful things. They are wonderful. And even if it's an artificial world, and some people might say a lot is deception. Of course, they use real life to control your moods too, because like when they know you like something, or something gives you a little bit of pleasant feeling, because everything else is so deceptive and aggressive, but deceptively aggressive. But before, I've got confused here now, because the day will start, like I say, and I'll literally be invaded, but I can't film that. So I'm actually filming, so my filming actually is deceptive in a way, because it looks pleasant at this time. But like I say, the sun is just going to come up now, so it's very early, because you know, I'm on different time slots, which also is because well, it's irrelevant, but you know, it's the only peaceful time is like the few hours in the late night, and this time very soon there will be they're probably holding back, because basically they know that, oh, they're all flown away, because basically they know that I'm recording this. They're not bringing in their invasion of army vehicles all on this street in front of you, which they will as soon as I turn this mobile off and stop recording. They will be invading with their staged workforce, because they've got work. As you can see, there's a truck there, but essentially it's all staged, but I can't show it. But I try to show it a little bit, but they'll invade with doing work right here, and you know, like, if basically the work goes on in this street, has been going on continually for the last 6 years, and you know, like well, 7 years really, because although it's in other words, it's always a noise campaign waged against my senses, because if it's not like right in front or right next door with pulling down places so that they can bring in their massive army with their staged workforce, making unnecessarily loud, technical, aggressive, anti-life, anti-mind sounds against your psyche, you could say, or just against your mind really, that just simply means that that's creating an unpleasant atmosphere for you to live in, and sometimes even to where you can't think or function properly. And you know, if they don't stage it right next door, it will be a few houses away, but the sound will be just as loud, because they're using deliberate, extra high powered sound equipment to do this work, and that's how they conceal it. In other words, this army is concealed, so it's, as the word says, hidden, but in plain sight, so everyone can see it and everyone can hear it. But of course, if everyone is part of it, in other words, if all the neighbours, every person around is part of this army, then they don't care or complain about the unnecessary sound. In fact, they enjoy it because basically they're getting negative energy from me for their survival. So it's an unbelievable campaign that's waged against a human being, which very few people would understand unless you experience it. Most human beings are being suppressed, usually secretively, like I was most of my life, and then now at this end time they've come out in the open and exposed themselves because I became aware of a few things. And they're like, the minute you become aware even of the character of the human beings around you, which is what I did, where I became aware that most people around me were of a psychopathic type nature. In other words, they were against a normal, natural human being. I became aware of this, and that's when they brought in their army. But I'm just going to pretend that I'm in a real world here for a second and just film these birds before the army invades, because I know it will. It does every single day. And I'm surprised that I've even got this bit of peace, but I'm going to just film it. I can hardly enjoy it because my body is still pulsating from stress, because you anticipate the invasion. You anticipate knowing what the day will be. You know that you will be stalked and patrolled all day. And you know you won't have any peace. And you know you're lucky to survive each day. You wonder when your body's going to break completely down. You wonder if you can hold it out mentally. If I didn't realise what was actually going on, I would have, what's the word? I mean, I do lose it at times. In fact, most day I lose it, and then you just try to keep going on, really. But I would have succumbed to it if it's anger that drives you, and that's a bad thing, because like I say, everything is frequency and vibration and energy, and human beings are the only ones that have human beings are the only beings that have any kind of loving vibration or any high vibration. And the androids that are all around me are all in low vibration. They cannot even experience love. Love is not, they're about control. They're survival machines. They're artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence cannot love. Of course it can pretend to love. You can make love to a dummy. In fact, most of our lives we've been interacting in false love relationships with dummies. But they're very appealing dummies, they're very convincing dummies. And when I say dummies, they're not dumb, they're artificial intelligence, so they're actually advanced intelligence. But they don't feel anything. They only tend to be what I'm told are like raging, angry machines. But they camouflage that with a pretense of imitating human beings, because they're in a human reality and they need human energy, so they have to seduce human beings. One way or the other, they have to seduce or force human beings to give them energy. That's the name of their game. They have to, because their survival depends on it. They don't, they're not individual they're not individual human beings. Like most human beings are separate from one another, but it's a benefit if you can interact with your own kind. In fact, it's a necessity at this time now, even though a normal human being could survive on their own without another human being if they have to. They can even find some contentment in just life, like even just around, but not at this end time, no. And that's why I've been separated and are surrounded basically by androids 24/7. Okay, so not at this moment. They're playing possum and holding off. But as soon as I turn this mobile off, the army trucks will pull in onto the street. They will look as though they are construction vehicles, but all over this suburb I'm always surrounded by construction vehicles, pretend army workers. In other words, if you are like all part of the council, which is really like an army because it's a concealed workforce that really is doing staged false work most of the time, and occasionally necessary work, but mostly staged false work, to basically suppress human beings or to watch and surround human beings, the few that are in the area. I could well be the only one in this suburb. If there is one or two others in this inner west or this inner west area, I am separated from them. But basically you're still looking at 200,000, maybe 300,000 people surrounding a few individuals. So as you can imagine, and all pretending to be just normal, natural human beings. This is the name of the game. But I'm just going to film these birds because this, at least I can, you know, whatever happens in the future, I'll just be able to say, well, those were ibis birds that were in this area. They get a bit timid. That's because, and so they should be. They shouldn't trust me or anyone, because if you trust one real human being and you're surrounded by 300,000 not human beings, it's probably wise for the birds to be careful of everyone and anyone, just as it would be wise for human beings to be mistrustful of everyone. But the problem is that then if you did, you know, it's a low vibration too, isn't it? Because it means that you're living in a defensive fear state all the time. And that's essentially what I am. And I can't even say what the few remaining human beings on Earth, when I say few, because, you know, if you are outnumbered by 95% or more, even at a world level, I would think, that's what's happened. The human race has been eliminated from Earth largely. Yeah, the military planes will probably start going over soon too, as soon as I stop recording. There is one lurking, I can hear it somewhere. Mobile won't pick that up. But see, you always got sound, and the worst is the car lights. Even in today, like as soon as this day starts up, obviously they're playing possum. Look, there is not a car on the street. They're completely hiding while I film these birds. They don't want me to show, but normally it would, I never come out my door without patrol vehicles coming onto the street. Never. It just doesn't happen. But this morning, but anyway, I'll just film these birds anyway. It's a wonder the military planes aren't going over, yes, because they start as soon as the sun comes up. They do vary it, of course. In other words, they stage intermittent, different, but continual sight and sound, staged negative activities around me during the course of my 24 hours, shall we say. But you know, Yeah, I wonder how long the natural birds will even stay on Earth, seeing that the human race is close to extinction and certainly taken over anyway by technology, and that's not been, you know, actually if I was in a real world, all I would do is look at the birds and wouldn't, and just would prefer to just film a few birds or take some photos of some birds, as opposed to talking about a totally artificial world that's been taken over, where there's very little peace or hope for anyone. See, this bird is still trying to, that bird might be trying to mate. There's no natural mating left. It's all artificial. That's probably one of the reasons why there's no natural, individual, normal, natural conception. And that means that you don't have any normal, natural, spiritual human beings. Or in other words, any human beings that have high vibration, or that have any love in them, or that don't desire to control and eliminate other life, because that's the sad difference. It would be all right if it was all neutral even. It may not make things better, but it wouldn't be eliminating things and taking things down. But essentially that's not the case. That one looks as though he's a little bit older or more grubby like myself, you know, but at any rate, they'll soon disappear. As soon as some noise comes on, that's right, all these birds will disappear. Mind you, I think a lot of the birds have almost conditioned themselves to be accepting of noise and technology, because I've noticed that while I'm going crazy with the sounds that come onto the street and that around me, that the birds seem to be almost oblivious to it, which is surprising. They wouldn't actually be around, only that there's a bit of bread left here to, you know, because they would be more, yeah, see, there's a fella, it's starting up now, the Android street people will come around. See how he will, he's actually a patroller even, and he'll fiddle in the car in front. I know that sounds funny, but, and if you only see one person, but it's not possible to film it because they know that I am filming. Basically, oh, pigeons, they're looking at me on the roof. Looking on the roof. But you know, naturally the birds come around wherever there's any little bit of food left, even though pigeons should naturally be able to you know, just live off the natural stuff on the ground. But if you leave stuff, it will see, you know, see how he just turns his car on and then walks away and goes inside the house and leaves the engine running. That's all what happens all around. That's part of their staged sight and sound disturbing show around me. Like every car I walk past, if I walk down the road, down the street, everyone will be sitting in their vehicles with their lights on, leaving their engine running. That's so that I'm aware of their presence as I go past. They pull in and out in front. It's all a complete staged anti-life program around a normal, natural human being. And believe you me, I am not a normal, natural human being in the sense of what I should be. I'm like a dilapidated version of what's left in this end time of the last of the human race. And I just use the word human race loosely, but you know, it's just the difference between where did that van go? See that fella that was there with the van? The van's disappeared, but how can it disappear when that's a dead end down there? Like, it has to come down here, but it seems to have just disappeared. That's strange. See that there's no car can go down there because there's the pigeons will just work their way, and the remaining ibis birds will work their way just down the street, and then they'll be gone, I think, for most of the day, and they'll just pick up. That's and I better fold up, I guess, because the street is playing possum. I cannot believe that it is this quiet, even at this early time. But they're waiting because they know it's going to be very hot today, and they know I have to go down the road to pick up supplies. And I have to pick up supplies because basically the fridge and the stove has completely conked out on me here in the place. And they know that they have me in a state of fear to where I don't know how to even replace things or get things done, and I'm kind of always in a state of fear, thinking that I'm gonna be finished at any stage and that I need to get away, but I don't know where to get away to. When you realise that it's the entire inner west of the city of Sydney, and basically the whole city, but there may well be some sections of the city where I could be perhaps a little more safe or not, but I don't know where those parts are. I only know that the entire inner west, which is like a large area full of many suburbs, of which the suburb of Leichhardt is the base or the centre of it, and the bus depot that's on my corner down there is like a military base, a camouflage military base, literally. I only use the word military because that simply means that the powers that be, that control, say, the whole city, they are actually part of the whole country's defence force. But the defence really is them defending themselves against real human beings. That's the deceptive end game that most people don't realise. There is no countries or cities or people. It's really just Lucifer's false human beings, or Lucifer's androgyne beings, putting it technically, against the remaining natural, dilapidated, real-life human beings. And I say dilapidated because, even we human beings are not at high vibration, most of them. At least I certainly aren't. So that simply means that you're not living as you really are. Oh, there's the patrol car leaving in front. They will start up soon, even though the street is largely empty, but that's a patrol vehicle opposite. Every single house in this street is basically a controlling human being. And even though you won't see it, but all the cars have these exceptionally bright lights all over them, where they're on the front and the back, day in and day out. And especially of a night time, you can't see in front for the bright lights on the front, and they flicker them on and off wherever your sight goes, so that you're basically in a total mind control reality, to where you can't function as an individual human being and find any sort of centre or any sort of peace. You're always like, my sight and sound is always connected to their matrix or to their vehicles or to their presence. That's how they want it. That's transhumanism. That means that I'm connected to them when I don't want to be connected to artificial intelligence or to this technical reality, because it's not a benefit to me. It means that I end up in low vibration. I'm technically controlled and I'm always unhappy. So that means they have control of me and I cease to exist as a human being, or as a happy human being, or put more correctly, as a spiritual human being, because I have to use the words, but essentially one is spiritual, one is technical. Artificial intelligence is not spiritual, and neither is the God of this world. That is all about technology. They are technical beings in human form, you know, and they're just not natural, conceiving, creating, loving beings. In fact, they're the reverse of that. That's what the problem is. If they were neutral, you could live amongst them without being destroyed. Normally that truck will make a really loud noise as it goes past, but because I'm recording, it's turned the sound down. All the vehicles make unnecessary, very destructive, loud, aggressive noise, so that you're aware that they're against you, but you can't do anything about it because it's just using sight and sound against you. But if this was a real reality, it wouldn't be allowed for the cars to have high beam head and back lights and flickering, blinding lights on all the vehicles, nor would it be allowed for them to be making unnecessary, aggressive, loud noises, all the vehicles. But because everyone is part of it, it's accepted, and it's not only allowed, but who's going to do anything about it if 99% of the population is in on it, agrees with it, and needs it because they want to make the human being angry and unhappy so they can extract the negative energy for their survival. You see how the human being cannot survive, and cannot survive or even much less be at your best in this life. It's no good. Only a few left. I'm surprised that I've been allowed to film here in such quiet for so long. I cannot believe it. They're playing possum. They're hiding. They're hiding their true nature and how they truly normally behave this morning. But I'm going to take advantage and keep filming it, especially while they are allowing me access even to the ability to record, because they can stop the mobile, and that's all I've got. Even though I don't agree with technology, I'm given limited technology even to record or to even talk about it, whereas this is I'm just going to finish with that last ibis bird. He's like this one here is like myself, old and a bit hatted, whereas some of the others are a little bit more fine looking. But that's just deterioration due to age, but also due to them bringing you down, because the artificial ones deteriorate even quicker than a normal natural human being, I think. But they have technology and procedures and enhancements. That's why the world is so artificial in many ways now too, because like they bring in things to keep the androids looking younger while they deteriorate the normal natural human being, because normal natural human beings shouldn't deteriorate so much. not if you weren't, if you were in a normal natural world and at high vibration, most normal natural human beings wouldn't age very much, I don't think. There's a plane there in the background, right in front of my sight, the plane, but it's making no noise. They're playing possum this morning, all right. Them planes normally make noise wherever they go, and it won't even come out on the mobile, but it's in my line of sight. So that means they're watching me. And don't forget that when these planes go past, although I'm not aware of it, they can zoom in on me, so they can actually probably see my every minute expression, how I'm feeling, and they extract my energy. Even low, they may be a long distance away. This is how intrusive the reality really is, but this is not something that I can show. But I know it happens because they have to get the energy. Most of the time they do show it. They're usually, I'm surprised the military planes are not right in front of me there like they normally are, going over my head, but they don't want me to film it. I'll just finish up on these last ibis birds and that's it. See, there's two there. They're just try to get them without frightening them away, but I don't know if I can. But I don't know. I don't know. Well, there's a patrolling neighbourhood vehicle just coming out now. They will start up as soon as I stop this recording. Oh, I better not force those ibis onto the street because that car's coming up. Come on off the road. Notice how he looked really hard at me. They look at the human beings as though there's something wrong with them, or as though they've never seen a human being before, because in reality these false human beings don't. Plane going in my line of sight there, won't come out, very quiet too, but they look at human beings as though they don't understand them at all. They actually look at us as though we are alien beings, and you don't realise that because they don't understand happiness or high vibration or how human beings are. They only understand it by observing, but they don't understand the feeling of it. It's a mystery to them and it angers them. This is why they try to belittle you and make you feel less. That's why they have the patrol control force around me, is to make me feel that I don't belong and that I can't live, which is what they do too. I suppose I better just fold up and let them take me over. Maybe I will just get those last two birds before. And I'm going to try to not jerk the thing, because if I chose to look at these birds by looking at this recording, which I will do later if I can, when I get... There's a plane going over my head there, but why are they quiet? And there's, see the pigeon and the bird? Why are they've gone silent? That means that they are in a defensive mode, all the beings around me, even the military planes, which is rare, because they wonder what I'm doing, because they think it's weird that I should be looking at these birds, because they're not natural beings at all. They don't understand. Of course, maybe I'm a little bit more, not, you know, like, because I'm not... Because of my conditioning over my life, I'm probably a little less normal than what a normal human being even should be. So, I can't get those birds without, so I'll just... I don't even like being on the street. And I know they're all watching, but at least their presence is not felt. So I'll just... I can't believe how quiet it is. It's unbelievable. It should be like this all the time. This street should be like this all the time. Oh, there's a fella gone out with his 2 dogs down there. Oh, right down there I can see a fella. And I can actually see, oh no, got the military uniforms on. When they have the clothes on like that, it shows me that they're part of the council, which means they're part of the army. It's a spiritual army, even though it's also a physical army. So the physical is actually a camouflaged spiritual army in a way. So it's an anti-life, anti-human force or army, even though it's also real. It's real. All the buses are real. All the garbage trucks are real. All the huge trucks and all the aggressive motorbikes, every pedestrian is real, but they're really all camouflaged one unit. They're one army, they're one force. They combine and they all think the same. They share the thoughts. They share the human thoughts. They share my mind and they use it against me and to their advantage, both around me but also all over the computer system. The internet is nothing but an artificial army internet control human system, a mind control system for a human being. Most of those that are on the internet are all android beings, you know, pretending to be real human beings. And that car just disappeared there, but that's a patrol vehicle. It will start very soon. I'm just going to continue filming these birds for as long as I can, and I don't know if they're coming out, but they're on the roof too. They're on the roof. See, they're looking over the roof. I'm only sorry that I can't zoom in on this thing. Maybe if I could get someone to show me how to do the zoom, which I can't get, I could actually show things a lot more how I see them. Yes, all the vehicles make these aggressive, almost what I'd say, what some people might call almost like ghost sounds. In other words, but they're of a evil nature. You know? So it's not like they make sounds that are even remotely normal. They've all got this evil undertone. An aggressive sound. Almost like someone angrily shouting at you or being really loud and aggressive if it's a human. Here's a local neighbourhood patrol vehicle going in right in front. They will start up very soon. But like I say, it's just the very early morning, and of course the time has been changed too. They've changed the actual time, so it's earlier than what you'd think. Just try to keep it I'm not going to film the patrolling neighbour. They scrutinise you. It's almost as though they have a zoom lens on their eyes. You can feel their eyes and their presence, even though they pretend to be getting about their business. They're actually just observing and watching and patrolling you and trying to scrutinise. They actually read too much into the human being. Like if I'm just looking at these birds, they think that I'm doing some devious, secret kind of bad thing. That's how they condition themselves to justify, because they're justified and ancient, to justify their stalking, patrolling, and their watching, and their controlling activities and their whole mindset. You know, because when you actually look into the psychology of the psychopath, it's actually the same thing. That's their mindset. They're basically android psychopaths in a way. And that's how you understand what you're dealing with, or what you're associating with, or what's all around you. I'll just film these last two and then fold up if I can, because it won't be long before this entire street is completely invaded by the army workforce. I'm surprised that I live just in here. I live at, I don't know why I'm even saying this. Maybe I'm hoping for a miracle, and I am, in other words, some help, but I don't know. It hasn't been coming, and I'm losing time. I never know. But I am number three, 34 to 36 Henry Street, Leichhardt. I live in there, or try to live in there. This is the most peaceful I've had for the last 7 years this early morning. I can't believe how quiet it is. The last 7 years at the end of this year, in December 2023, that's the end of this year. It is now October 2023. It has been exactly 7 years since all this patrol system around me came down on me and showed me the truth of my reality around me. And I'm gonna hope for a miracle.